Good morning. Today we are looking and continuing what we began yesterday, where we're going to make connections between two or more texts to determine a similar theme. Who can raise their hand and tell me what the theme of the text we've been studying is? JoJo?
Effective communication.
Effective communication. We're also going to go in and support our answers with evidence from the text. We do that quite often when we go in and support our answers. We do that in small group and in whole group when answering questions about a book. We're going to make inferences about our text, and we're also going to summarize a text. So that's where I'd like to begin. Who can summarize what we read yesterday in Wonderstruck? Think about Ben and Rose's portion together. Think about their portion together. What did we read about their portion together? Justin?
That was kind of at the same place.
Very good.
There were different time periods.
Same place but different time periods. Can anybody go in a little more detail about what place that was? Kyle?
They were in the American Museum of Natural History.
Very good. And they were also in front of what, Bridger? And Gita. Now, we saw something quite unusual because Rose had made a wish. What wish did she make, Jaden?
I wished I belonged somewhere.
I wished I belonged somewhere. And that revealed a lot about Rose's character, didn't it? What did that tell us about Rose's character, Abigail?
That she's kind of lonely, and then yesterday we made kind of a connection with that hand chart. That another theme is that don't run away from your problems.
Absolutely.
Don't run away from your problems.
Absolutely. Maisa, would you like to add on?
Yeah, I want to say, but Rose, she had put that note up there, and then Ben came, and he was finna touch it to get the letter, but the guard told him not to, and the guard put him in.
Very good. Very, very good, Mason. Brian, add on to that.
I agree with Mason in the first part when Rose threw the letter up there, and then back in Ben's portion, Ben tried to get it, but and the guard came. But when the guard left, Ben got up and actually reached it, but it wasn't the same.
Nice job. It wasn't the same note. What note was it, Diamond?
It was like a diagram, kind of like a map pointing to.
Good. It was a map. What was on it, though, Coy?
What's inside the box?
What's inside the box? Did we know who had written that note?
No.
No. Justin, add on.
I was going to see, I had a question.
Okay.
Was that like one of the smaller parts of the...
Very good question. He asked if that was one of the smaller parts. The
Yeah,
Angito, in general, all three pieces together are called Cape York. So I read about it, and they're all three together are called Cape York. And yes, I bet that is one of the smaller pieces. Very good connection. Cole.
The map led to an exhibit that was down like a little hallway, and it was a picture of the wolves. That's where it came from.
Very good. Okay, and last one and 9 more.
Well, I agree with Cole because the wolves were what he had a dream.
Good.
And like it was where he was from.
Very good. All right, we're picking up on this page. So, kind of look at this page and think about what do you notice about this page and what connections. Y'all already made some big connections this morning. What other connections can you make from what is going on between Rose and this person and what happened yesterday in Ben's? Justin, I've heard a lot from you and you're doing a great job. Let me hear from someone different. Kyle?
Well, Rose is deaf, so she can't hear the guard speaking to her, and Ben has been having trouble because he can't hear the people, so he has to sort of flip read.
Ooh, very good. What else, Coy?
Oh, well, with the guard to Ben, he says, my mom and dad are in one of the exhibits.
Very good. So you're talking about the guard making kind of a connection that both of them have had some sort of interaction with the guard, haven't they? Let's turn the page.
We had a prediction that Rose was looking for Walter.
That's right, we did. Look at those faces. There was a glow around Rose. Good, Abigail.
And the guard.
And the guard, you're right. All right, turn and talk with your group about what you think is being said here.
like she's like,
Well, she can't hear, so it's hard for her. And like, and she don't know what you're saying, so I because she can't hear anything, so she don't. I agree with her what she's saying. I agree with her because.
Her dad did that same thing, I heard some wonderful conversation. Give me an oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle, will you share what you said with your group?
He said that he's saying get out, and plus Rose is used to like the finger pointing because earlier in the book, her dad did the same motion with the finger.
Very good. So she's used to kind of direction with hand motions, isn't she? I guess she has to be with her
She knows
dad.
she's
Diamond, what else?
our group said that maybe he's saying go somewhere else or something. But like I'm thinking right now, since she put the note on the rock, maybe he's saying, get the note off the rock.
Okay. What else, Mason?
I was gonna say that she's deaf and he's telling her to leave. I thought she might leave.
Ooh, why do you say that? You don't know?
Because she's pretty shocked that he's part of his hand anyway, so she's looking at the hand and she's probably thinking the hand is telling her.
Yeah, and she looks kind of scared, doesn't she? Brian?
I can add on to Mason because it does look like he's pointing away so she can get out because that must be a famous important museum. And so because she's throwing something on the meteorite, and like how people don't like their property, their trash on.
Right, and think
like
about...
that must be a very important meteorite.
Absolutely, and think about if you've ever gone into a museum or someplace where something very important is. There's usually things around it that says what? Don't cut, don't touch. And she didn't do that. Let's turn and see.
She was.
And there she goes.
She's running away.
He's on a finger.
Y'all see that? Turn again. Sarai. His hand did have a glow around it. Nice observation, Sarai. All right, we're picking back up with Ben's portion. Ben felt his knees buckle. He stumbled backward until he was sitting on the floor against the opposite wall. How was this possible? The wolves couldn't be here, but they were. Look at the punctuation there. The wolves couldn't be here, but they were.
He paused.
He paused. Very good. That's called an ellipses, and we can use that in our own writing. He was staring at them with his own eyes. Someone ran toward Ben and helped him stand up. What did the words say, guys?
Are you dead?
You dead? Reluctantly, Ben nodded. No wonder you ignored everything I said. Why is that written in italics? Why is that written in italics, Abigail?
Because it's something being written down on paper, not being said.
Very good. Remember how we looked through some of the actual pictures of the museum, and I told you that the author really did a great job. She's got the bow around her, Abigail, I heard you say. The author did a really great job. Remember how he actually looked at this picture?
Yeah.
Of making sure he included actual things that were in the museum.
Dang, got wrong with me.
So the author has zoomed in. She's running through the halls of the museum. Ooh, boy, that's a nice observation. Koi said it means whatever she's looking at is important if they show her zoomed in like that. Turn and talk with your group about what you think she may be looking at and what she sees.
She said, JoJo down Nicole said, we agreed because she looks like she's looking for the guard or Watson. She's probably not trying to go.
That's a great observation. We've made some inferences, we've summarized a text, and we've gone in and supported our answers with evidence from the text. Now we're going to go ahead and get ready for small group. And in small group, we're going to be analyzing that theme of effective communication, and we're going to make connections between some of the texts that we've been looking at. If you got Wonderstrucks for your group, if you can go put them on the back counter where they belong. Today we're going to work on our theme of what?
Effective communication.
Okay, that's right. So you have a page that looks exactly like this in your journal, and I believe most of you have already opened up to that. So, what are the first two blanks that we can fill in? It says blank, blank, build strong relationships. Very good, guys. So go ahead and fill that in on your chart as well. Effective communication builds strong relationships. And then if you notice, we're looking at three texts. What three texts are we looking at? Okay, very good. Which one would you like to begin with? I heard Maniac McGee and Wonderstruck. Wonderstruck. Okay, Wonderstruck it is. All right, let's start with Ben. So the first question we're answering is, how does communication affect his relationship? So let's think about his relationship with his mom. Think back to the very beginning.
He
thought he had a very good until he found all the secrets in his mom's room.
Good. Give me an example of what type of secrets
Like
Mommy
he
hid, Amelia.
The locket with a jar of money.
The locket, the jar of money. What else?
The Wonderstruck book.
Yeah.
The Wonderstruck book.
The museum.
Wait, the Kincaid book.
The Kincaid bookmark. We could go on and on, couldn't we? So the first thing I'm going to write under my chart is his mom hid secrets and did not tell him the truth about his father. And remember, that kind of sets all those other events in motion, doesn't it? You got it right? Yeah. Okay, what about Rose, Kyle? We've got two relationships that Rose has. What? Mother and father. Right, they're both not very good, JoJo. So
Well, like Lily and Mayhew, she's always working.
Good.
So when she visited her, it's like she didn't really want to see her.
Good.
At the moment. And then the dad, I guess he doesn't really care because, like, when she tore out like the picture of Lily and Mayhew, he got like mad.
I love how you're pulling evidence from the text. What else, Brian?
Now I know why he got mad, because back then it didn't say that Lily Mayhew was Rose's mom.
Right.
And so his dad got angry at her because that was her mom, and she was trying to and the dad was trying to
Maybe almost protect her from it?
or read about what she's doing next.
Oh, that's a great thought. I hadn't thought about that. So, I wrote a lot. I'm not going to have you write all that. I wrote, she feels like she cannot communicate with her father because he hired a tutor instead of working with her. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And then I wrote, she also feels like she cannot communicate with her mother due to her not being around. So all I want you to write in your chart is feels like she cannot communicate with her mother or father. Keep it short and simple. Now you notice we're answering this question and then we're going to go in and do what, guys? Quote or find evidence. Very good.
Well, we can't quote hers. We have to find
Yeah, because it's some pictures.
Wonderful observation, Kyle. Kyle said we can't really quote hers because hers is all illustrations.
But I like how it's separated.
I do too.
Sometimes tricks me up, like even when now because they're in the same museum.
Right.
Museum, and like they're in sometimes in the same place. You know, like the picture they're going to show from.
But it's at different times.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but
when she
yeah,
was running
it-
down the streets, I thought that was like Ben going up the stairs.
Yeah.
I know.
Danny's,
They have a lot of
but I was like,
connections.
never mind.
All right, our last two, I'm sorry, Kyle. Our last two are The Story of My Life and Maniac McGee. Which would y'all like to go to next?
Maniac McGee.
Okay, Maniac McGee. Let's think about his relationships and how communication affects them. Okay, let's think back to the very beginning. What happened in the very beginning that set the events in motion for
His
Maniac?
aunt and uncle weren't talking. They got separate things and put them in the middle of everything.
Very good. So that's absolutely how communication affects him. How did he end up at Aunt and Uncle's?
His mom and dad got
Died
in
in
a
a
bad
trolley.
crash.
The big trolley.
Very good, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's right. So I wrote, his aunt and uncle do not communicate and put Jeffrey in the middle of their arguments. And then we've got our last one to look at before we go in and start finding evidence. The last one we're looking at is The Story of My Life by Helen Keller. Now, Helen Keller is a little bit different than our other characters because she was blind and deaf. Okay? Now, let's think about how communication affected her in the beginning.
Well, it's just like,
She gets
couldn't
mad when she doesn't know what it
communicate
is.
with others until Anne Sullivan came.
Good, say that again, Kyle.
She couldn't really communicate with others until Anne Sullivan came.
Good, and how did it make her feel that she had no ability to communicate?
dumb and
Expectant. Nice job pulling in that vocabulary. All right, so on that one I wrote, she has no way to communicate until Anne Sullivan arrives. Absolutely.
she has
Anne Sullivan arrives. Now, in front of you, I'm going to place a text.
Well, I had a question.
Okay?
When it said on Maniac McGee, there was one problem about him. He was blind. He wasn't really blind, was he?
Ooh, okay, that was a great question. No, he was not really blind.
It
Anybody
said
like
he
to help
was
me answer that?
Kind of.
Like, he couldn't see the difference
Oh, yeah,
between
between
race.
right.
Right.
Okay, because that just tripped me up when it said he was
Yeah,
blind. I
it
actually
is a little
thought he was
confusing.
blind.
Just kind of a little
Well,
little bit of figurative language there. Okay, in front of you I've placed a text. For you two girls, I've placed Maniac McGee, and inside you have a page that looks like this. It says supporting evidence. So I want you to go in, and I want you to find a supporting quote to support that his aunt and uncle do not communicate.
will we have that?
Yes, I've already bookmarked the page, and you have an expo marker to write with. When you're done, put it on the chart and be prepared to share. Kyle and Amelia, you've got The Story of My Life by Helen Keller, Chapter 4. I've already made a copy for you, okay? And I've marked it. It's going to be on the front side of the page. I want you to find a quote to support that she had no communication until Anne Sullivan arrived, and how it changed her life. So, you have the same page, you have the supporting quote, and expo marker. Brian, you and I are going to go in and find a quote to support Ben's portion, how Mom hid secrets. And I've already marked the page for us. Well, we'll do rows altogether. So let's look for a quote that supports that Mom hid secrets. Read for me starting here.
They thought about the coffee cans sitting on the shelf alone. They crawled out, rolled over a chair, and took it down. There's a lot of money inside the can. There's a lot of money inside the can.
Okay, keep going.
Maybe a few $100. But couldn't believe, Ben couldn't believe his mom had saved so much money. Did she have other secrets hidden in her room?
Okay, do you think that's the quote we should use? I like that one, I agree. So write that one down on your chart for me. What do you start a quote with?
The text states.
Good, sentence stem. Did y'all find one?
Yeah.
Start your quote with a sentence stem. Good, Amanda. Did y'all find one?
Yeah. But we got the kind
And it's kind of like a couple of little things.
Ooh, so y'all found more than one.
Yeah.
It's
We
stop
stopped
sharing, and
they
then
were producing everything, two things and everything.
okay, and then as it was, they split them up as best as
Very good. Hey, so above here, since y'all already started your vote, add a sentence in it, sentence to it.
Before my wedding.
About 1 more minute to finish those quotes.
Yeah, here. Or no, or. Pretty soon,
Or do you just want it as it was?
Okay, if you run out of room, just put an ellipses to show that the quote continues.
they included that they were to everything, so it could be like.
Or you can just put a list of
Okay.
things right there.
Where does this go?
But you can like, do it
Over here.
What?
you know,
No way.
Do you want me to place it up here?
No way.
we don't want to say pretty soon.
About 30 seconds, then we're stopping.
Go right over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just put an ellipses and end your quote. Y'all did a perfect job. Okay, now put it on the chart where it belongs. And go ahead and add your quote to your own personal chart.
As it was, or they split them up.
Okay, girls, y'all almost done?
Yes.
As best they could.
Perfect. End your quote and add it to our chart. Now you'll notice, we have 4 spots up here, but how many quotes did we go in and find? 3, because Kyle's kind of already pointed that out. Kyle, why did we not find a quote for this one?
Because, there's this person that's told in pictures like that.
In pictures.
We
Very
gotta find
good.
an illustration. We would have to find a picture of it.
Very good. All right, Brian, share the quote that we found for supporting that mom had secrets. Put your pencils down and listen to Brian for a moment.
The text states, did she have other secrets hidden in her room?
Do y'all agree that that quote supports?
Yes.
Very good, Brian.
Do we?
All right, Amelia, will you share the quote that you found for Helen Keller?
The text states, I was like a ship before my education began, only I was without a compass, no way of knowing how near the harbor was.
Do y'all agree that that supports?
Yeah.
Very good. Now let's place it. And JoJo, share the quote that y'all found from Maniac Mickey.
According to the story, it said, pretty soon they stopped sharing. Pretty soon there were 2 of everything. As it was, they split him up as best they could.
Wonderful job. Now if you'll go ahead and place that back on the chart. Now, before you finish writing the quotes in your own chart, let's look and see if we can find a page number at least to support a quote. I mean, not to support a quote, to support Rose's. That's right.
Rose feels like she cannot communicate with her mother and father. Maybe.
So think about.
Since the beginning where her father
Yeah.
looking at that
Pointing
stuff.
Ooh.
I found this yesterday, when I was 6, Grandma wanted to look, and I found the one where it said I would visit next month on Maybe.
Very good. So that would support the mother.
But that's also kind of a quote and a picture.
That's exactly right. It is kind of a quote and a picture. So, okay, Kyle said
The pointing finger.
the pointing finger. Could this also support it? God bless you.
Oh, yeah.
Your tutor left the book for you to practice.
Because remember, Dad didn't come up and
And like he was
address it. He
always
just
around.
left a note on her
Yeah.
bed.
He really didn't know.
Oh, yeah,
The
because
part
she went to
where
the
she
movie
got-
theater
like,
without telling
this
her
next
dad.
page, well, maybe the next one after that. Oh,
And this one
Look
would
at his
support it
hair.
too.
yeah, he's not even looking at her. There,
But, like-
wait, then they page.
Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm. Y'all agree that that would support it?
Stink eye.
All right, so I just want you to write a description of picture. I just want you to write, how could we describe this picture?
Her father.
Her father gives her the stink eye.
Okay, I like that explanation, very
Gives
good.
her the finger?
Mhm.
Her father's giving me the stink eye because she's kind of.
Now, ooh, very good. Now, we've supported father, we need to go in and support what else?
Her mother.
Her mother.
Where, I think we should do that next.
When she did the note, JoJo?
Yeah, I looked at that.
And I am working. I
I would
said
visit.
I would visit
I said I would visit next
Know
month.
how, wait, no, you aren't allowed out.
What part of that supports the poor communication?
Visit next month.
Visit
Yeah.
next month. So let's write that. And you're not allowed out, absolutely.
So if you do quotation,
That's a great question.
I don't think.
Let's think about that. Should we do quotations? Are we pulling direct quote? Hold on, are we pulling a direct quote from a text?
But we just,
Yes.
it's just in pictures.
Yeah. Y'all did a wonderful job today. Thank you for working so hard. I'm gonna have you finish writing the supporting quotes independently, and when you're done, I want you to go back to your seats. Good job, guys. All right, guys, y'all worked very hard today. We've made connections between 3 separate texts, The Story of My Life by Helen Keller, Wonderstruck, and Maniac McGee. And we've determined how that all 3 of those texts have a similar theme of what? Very good. Now, for your exit ticket to close for the day, it looks like normal. You're going to put your name, date, number, and group on it, and then you're going to answer this question. The theme of our unit is effective communication affects relationships. What other themes could we find in these texts and why? So not only do you need to go in and find what theme also works for these texts, you need to support it with why that could be another possible theme. Are there any questions before we begin? Okay, you're going to turn this in on your way out the door to the exit ticket bin. As soon as you get it, you may go ahead and begin.